Because here's the reality. Your words create your reality. Your words create what is going to happen. So if you continuously say, I'm not a CISO, I'm not going to get a job as a CISO, nobody's going to hire me as a CISO, you're magic genie. Welcome to Life of a CISO. I'm Dr. Eric Cole, your host, and we'll be taking you on a journey each week on what it takes to be a CISO and what are solutions that you can implement today if you are currently a Chief Information Security Officer or if you want to be one in the future. This is Life of a CISO. Welcome, 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 welcome. You know what time it is. It's time for Life of a CISO with yours truly, and Dr. E is in the house. Hope you are doing awesome. Hope you are focused, aligned, and have a clear target of where you want to finish the year. Remember, we're starting September. We're starting the 9th month, right? 3 to 4 months to go, but here's the reality. There is still plenty of time for you to crush it. There's still plenty of time for you to make this the best year you ever had. Because here's the reality. Whether you realize it or not, you've done a ton of work this year. Some of you is foundational, right? Some of you is putting the foundation in place. And that's the interesting thing. I remember when they were building my house, and I always love watching houses get built because the foundation is the most critical part of the house. It takes the longest in order to build it, and it has the least amount of visible progress because it's basically underground. So you're sitting there, and one of my friends lives in a new neighborhood where they're building these houses, and you go and it's like they're working, it's no progress. It seems like months. And then all of a sudden, like they build a whole house in 2 months. And you sit there, me and him had this conversation, we're like, did they really build a 10,000 square foot mansion, beautiful overlooking the water, in 2.5 months? Did that really happen? And it's no. It took 6.5. 4 of the months was building the foundation because it's on the side of a mountain, so they had to put special structural, build walls and it was a piece of art, the architecture that did this, but you didn't see any progress for 4 months. You saw cement trucks, you saw people there, but nothing visual. So the reality is it took 6.5 months to build a house. Most of it was the foundational work you didn't see. And that's true with most technical people, especially if you're becoming a CISO, is you might have a CISO job and awesome, but you might have had a goal and you're not there yet and you're like, it's not gonna happen. Guess what? You have to stop that. Stop that. I'm gonna put you in timeout because here's the reality. Your words create your reality. Your words create what is going to happen. So if you continuously say, I'm not a CISO, I'm not going to get a job as a CISO, nobody's going to hire me as a CISO, your magic genie, your unconscious mind, which is a magic genie, goes, your wish is my command, and grants it. And that's actually the first thing I'm talking about in this episode in becoming a CISO. What I'm going to talk about here is how do you actually get your first job as a CISO? You've worked, you have experience, you have everything in place, and you want to become a CISO. You don't have those 4 letters on your CV and you want it there. What are the things you need to do to become a CISO? And the reality is I'm going to spend most of my time on the foundational piece that everybody ignores. And that's how you see yourself. What are the words that you are saying and speaking? And I know it sounds crazy to analytical, mathematical, scientific geniuses like yourself in cybersecurity because everything you want to explain as a math problem and should mathematically make sense. But one of the best lessons I can teach you in life is life is not a math problem. It doesn't always make sense, and it's not always going to be as simple as 2 plus 2 always equals 4. So the reality is what you are thinking and what you are focusing on is the reality that you live. And here's the crazy part. While life is not a math problem, life can easily be reverse engineered. I can meet you. I can spend 30 minutes with you, and I can tell you exactly what you're thinking and what you're focused on. And I don't have any magic skills. Why? Your current reality is a direct result of your thoughts, your mindset, your beliefs, and your identity. Because you create your own reality. So whatever reality you currently have, I know that's what you're thinking. So if you've been trying to become a CISO for 2 years and you are not a CISO, I know the number one problem, and maybe the only problem, is you don't think you're CISO material. It's that simple, because here's the reality. If you truly believed you were a CISO, you truly believed you were CISO material, and you truly believed you could help an organization, you would already be a CISO. And I know people don't like that. They go, Eric, it's not that simple. Yes, it is. But Eric, I've been focusing on being a CISO and it's not happening. No, you think you have, and you've been forcing it, but the reality is there's a part of you, if you really go deep, there's a part of you that doesn't believe that. There's a part of you that doubts whether you can be a CISO. And it's the craziest part, because I'm a cybersecurity person, and when I built the CISO certification, my theory, and it was wrong, was that people needed more of the skill set in order to be a CISO. They didn't know. Security engineers thought technical. They thought problems. Chief information security officers think strategy. They think solutions. They think business. They think at a different level. So I thought that was the biggest issue, and that's where I initially focused the energy and effort. It turns out that was an issue. And it turns out I solved that issue in an amazing manner. But what I realized early was people were going through the program, and some of them were getting jobs as a CISO. Most people in my program are folks that are in that transition. They're security engineer, or they had another career or business. They have the skills, they have the background, they have the experience, and they're looking for that first time of being that CISO. I do have some folks that are CISOs and want to elevate, about 15%, but 85% of the people in my program are the first timers. So I'm a big fan of letting data drive decisions, not emotions. So I could have theories, I could have hypothesis, but I'm ultimately going to look at the data and say, what does the data tell me? And what the data was telling me was there's something missing, because 30 people went through the program and 18 of them got jobs as a CISO, highly successful, and 12 didn't. And the 12 that didn't, in some cases, were more qualified, were more engaged, showed up to more of the coaching calls, and went through the material, because I can check and see multiple times. So it wasn't that they were slacking, and it wasn't that they weren't going through and learning what they needed to, but there was still something missing. So I said, okay, let me start interviewing these two groups and seeing what is the difference between them. And the difference between them were thoughts and beliefs. The 18 people that went through my program, and now all of these 30 people, I picked them out because all of them were trying to become a CISO for 1 to 2 years. So they all were trying and wasn't successful. And then the question is, they all go through the program, 18 become successful and 12 don't. So I started interviewing these two groups, and here's what I found. The 18 that got CISO jobs, they believed that they were CISO material, they just needed training. That they truly believed they could do the job of a CISO, they truly believed they could crush it, they just didn't believe they had the skill set for doing it. So they go through my program, they get the skill set, they get the coaching, and now they have the conviction. So now they're showing up with total confidence, alignment, and belief that they are a CISO. And guess what? They get jobs as a CISO. And I talked to the 12 that didn't, and almost all of them go, Eric, I tell you, even before your program, I wasn't sure if I was CISO material. I'm just not sure if people are going to hire me for a CISO. I'm a great manager. I'm a great security engineer. I have those skills. I just don't know if I can elevate to a CISO level. So I trust you. I followed you for many, many years. I took some of your early training on the technical side. So I figured I'd just give it one more shot, but I'm just not sure that I'm a CISO and can get hired as a CISO. Guess what? What you focus on, you get. So the problem wasn't that they weren't learning and getting material. They were going in saying they're not CISO material. So I didn't focus on fixing that, so that's why they weren't successful. But then here's the craziest part. I spent time with them saying, okay, you say you're not CISO material. So let's go through. If you follow, you might have heard this exercise. It's a great exercise. It's worth repeating. You could do this with your kids. If your kids say they're not good in something, do this exercise. If anybody says, oh, I'm not this or I'm not that, you do this exercise. So if somebody says, I'm not X. So in this case, because this is Life of a CISO, they're saying, I'm not CISO material. So I take X, which is CISO material, and I ask them a simple question. What is CISO material? And they look at me. I'm like, you told me with no uncertain terms that you are not CISO material. So if you are so confident that you're not, I want to know what it is. So tell me. And it catches people because they didn't really think about that. They're like, well, I don't know. I'm like, you must know. Because then you could be CISO material. So if you're so convinced that you're not, then tell me what it is. Tell me what a CISO material is so we can understand this. And after some pushing and prodding, they start rattling off some things. So I'll start making a list, and different number. I mean, usually I try to get between 20 or 30. Some are 20, 25, 35. So let's say 30. So I finally extract this list from you. Now remember, this is your reality. It doesn't really matter whether it's correct or not. You believe it to be true. So I can do a lot of things. There's a lot of ways I can tackle it, but this is the quickest and easiest, which is I'm going to meet you at your truth. So I get this list from you, these 30 items. Whether it's real or not is irrelevant because you believe it to be true, so that's cool. Now I ask another simple question. How many of these items does somebody need to be CISO material? Do they need all 30? Well, like, do they actually have to have every? So if they're missing one, they're not CISO material? Like, if they're missing two, they're not? Like, I need to understand your truth. And they'll come back and go, well, no, if they have 20 of the 30. So if they have at least 2/3 of this list, they're CISO material. Awesome. So your reality, your current truth, whether it's true or not, is that these 30 items are what makes somebody a CISO, and if you have 20, then you get hired as a CISO. Is that correct? Yes. Great. So then I say, let's take a highlighter and let's start identifying how many of these you have. 90% of the time, they have more than they thought. So in this case, they had 23. So I'm looking at going, you said if you have 20 or more, you're CISO material and you have 23. I'm confused. Are you lying to me? You have to be, because you told me you're not CISO material. But then you told me that if you have 20 of the 30, you are CISO material, and you have 23. So which one of you are lying to me? Because one is not true. I said, I think it's the first one that was lying. You underestimated your capabilities and who you are. And then we push that a little bit, and they get to a point where all of a sudden you see, like, that they get it. It clicks. They go, wow, I never realized how much I had. And I know it sounds crazy, but when they truly get the conviction, it could be 20 minutes, it could be multiple calls, but when that click happens, it's the craziest thing. I smile and I say, call me in a month or two when you get the job, because that was the piece that was missing. That was the piece that they didn't have. Now, I want to cover this because you might be that 10%. What if you do this exercise? And it does happen 10% of the time. I do this exercise with one of my clients, and they're short. They only have 18 of the 20. So they were correct. They currently aren't CISO material. But wait, it's awesome, because now I have a blueprint. So now I look at them and say, great, 18 of these items are highlighted, 12 are not. We need 2. I want to overachieve, so let's go for 4. I know you said we only need 20, so we need 2, but I want to go to 22 just to overdo it. So find 4 items on this list that you think within 3 months, if you focused on, you can learn, achieve, or acquire. Come on, out of the 12, there's got to be 4 of these that you believe you can hone in and you can get to the level where we can highlight it. And they pick them, and then we build out their roadmap. So now I build out a plan for them that shows them in 3 to 4 months how they will be CISO material and they can get a job. So either way, it's a win. Either way, we're switching their mindset. Now, you're probably sitting there going, he's talking about becoming a CISO, yet he spent half of this podcast going in and talking about the mindset. And the reason is this. The rest is simple. This is the piece that holds everyone up. If you're not focused on the truth, which is you are CISO material, and you're focused on a false reality that you believe to be true, I can spend all the time training you. I can spend all the time building your CV. It don't matter. It will not matter, because your reality will not allow you to become something you're not capable of becoming. It's basically your mind, your body is a crazy, crazy thing. It's a protective mechanism. It's not going to let you be a liar. It's not going to let you prove yourself wrong. So if you convince yourself you're not CISO material, it's not going to allow you to become a CISO, because that would mean you are a liar, pants on fire, and it cannot live with that. So it's going to create a reality that aligns with your truth, even if your truth is a pile of you know what. So that's the piece that has to be fixed. Once that gets fixed, it's easy. Then we move, now that you believe you're a CISO, you know you own, there's no doubt in your mind that you're a CISO. You're showing up with total confidence. Now, what's the next step? The next step is to get interviews. You need to interview for CISO positions. What is the barrier for interview? Your CV. That is the only purpose. The only purpose of a CV is to get you the interview. So easy. Numbers. Let data drive decisions. So take your current CV and apply to 10 CISO jobs anywhere in the world. But Eric, I'm not willing to move or relocate. I'm not willing to do. You're missing the point. I don't care. I want to test out your CV to see if it accomplishes the mission. Does the CV read in a way that gets you interviews? Even if you're in New York and you do not want to relocate, and the job is in California and requires you to relocate, I still want you to apply. Why? Because if the CV is done correctly, you get the interview. Now, after the interview, when you tell them you're not willing to relocate, you won't get the job, but I don't care. Right now, I want to test the validity of the resume or CV in getting you interviews. So I just need you to apply to as many as possible to see if you get an interview or not, because that's going to let data drive the quality of that CV. If you get at least 80%, so 8 out of 10 of the jobs you apply for go in and give you a first interview. CV's awesome. It's rocking. It's solid. It's good. Move on. We're great. If you're getting 4 or 5, it's okay. It needs some tweaks. But if you're getting below 4 or 0, you need to take that CV, you need to put it in a fire pit, and you need to burn it as quick as possible, because it is not accomplishing its job. It is not doing what it needs to. Now, 2 reasons for that. First reason is, if you were one of those folks that said you're not CISO material, well, guess what? You wrote your CV from a standpoint of not CISO material. So, of course, it's going to be stinky poo-poo. You need to rewrite it from a position of power. You need to rewrite it from a position that I am a CISO. Completely different position. Rewrite it. Second, and this is one of the biggest secrets that nobody ever says. When you apply for a job with a CV, they are not looking for reasons to hire you. They're looking for reasons to exclude you. For example, one of the clients I work with, huge CISO firm, they go in and the first thing they look for is, does this person in their current job talk about technical skills and ability? Because if they do, they're a security engineer faking it. We don't want security engineers pretending to be CISOs. We want real-world CISOs. You know what the biggest exclusion is? And this is the biggest mistake security engineers make. They have a section, and they usually put it at the top because they're so proud of it: technical skills and certifications. If you are going in and applying to a CISO job, and at the top, before experience, before education, before anything else, you are bragging about your technical skills and your technical certifications, I am going to toss that CV quicker than I grabbed it, because that is telling me that you are driven and motivated by technical skills and accomplishment. You're going to want to keep those certifications because they're hard to get, so you're going to want to keep them, which means you're going to be spending time, energy, and effort on understanding technology, technical skills to keep those certifications up, when I want you 100% focused on business and strategy. It's a distraction. You're not ready. You're a security engineer. You didn't burn the boat, and you're keeping your foot on your old job. Burn the technical boat. Get rid of that section. Your CV has to scream strategy, leadership, business. No technical. No security. Now, yes, just so we're clear, if you were a security engineer 5 years ago, of course, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is your current job and your current focus needs to scream security engineer. So if your current job for 4 years, you were security manager or deputy CISO, awesome. And then 5 years earlier, from 2012 to 2017, you were security engineer. That's cool. Keep it. I'm not saying that. That's what people misunderstood. What I'm saying is the general structure of it. When I see your name, your mission, and you have a whole section where you're bragging about your technical skills, that's screaming security engineer. I want it to scream CISO. Then I want your current job to scream CISO. Anything after that is fine, because a good CISO does have a technical background and does have security experience. So that's cool, but I just need that current focus. So redo that CV until you're getting over 50%. Ideally, we want 80%. Once you get there, your CV is good. Then, if you're not getting the jobs, it's because your interviewing skill. It's because you're not showing up as a CISO. This is the biggest problem. When people get nervous, they go back to what they know. And this is why I say it time and time again. If you were a security engineer for 10 years, good on you. You could become a CISO, but it'll be much harder than somebody who has 5 years because you've done it and you're really, really good at it. So when you get nervous and you get in a situation, you get in a corner, you get asked hard questions, you're going to go back to what you know, which is technology, and that's disastrous on an interview. So then you need to focus on speaking and talking like a business person. And here's the best way to do that. Within the first 5 minutes of your interview, you answer the questions, but you're driving the interview, you somehow figure out a way to put the company's numbers in your answer. So Dr. Cole, can you tell us a little bit about your experience as a CISO? Absolutely. I did start my career off as a professional hacker, and I did love technology, but I quickly learned through my career that building out an effective strategy that's tied to the business is most critical. That cybersecurity can actually be a strategic weapon to drive revenue numbers. For example, I noticed at your company that your year-over-year growth has been 11% and you're currently at $3.5 billion. I think with a proper focus on aligning the business with some cybersecurity strategies, we could increase that number over $4 billion and potentially even increase the margins from 11 to 14% by using it as more of a strategic weapon to help grow the business. And I have many ideas of how to do that, and I've successfully done that at past companies. Boom! Tell you right now, you give that type of answer, you're gonna get the job. It might not be that one, it might be another one, but notice what you did. You went business, you went numbers, you're not afraid of it, you use proper terminology, margins, growth, revenue. That's how you win the game, my friends. And then from there, boom, you just deliver. You just do follow-up. So the 3 main areas, if you want to become a CISO, you got to get your head on straight. You got to get your mindset, most important, spend a lot on that. Then test their CV, get rid of anything recently. Past is okay, recently that screams technical, and then practice the interview, and in the first 5 minutes, get numbers, get business, and get terminology in there to show that you're comfortable and own it. And you do that, my friends, and I cannot wait to hear about your next job where you are a world-class CISO.